It's over. The KvK is finished on my main in 606. We went up against 2377, 3251, 3535. We also had 2489 as our allies. We also had great campmates in 1719 and 2650. And so we're going to go through all of this because I want to tell you guys all about the marches that I ran. We're going to look at the performance of those marches. We're going to look at the performances of the rally. We're going to show you some clips and different things that we did to show you everything that happened and the results of this KvK. We'll go through the kill points. We'll go through everything to get everybody up to date on what happened in this massive KvK we just ended. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out content all the time. And if you enjoy that content, please throw a thumbs up on it. Throw a thumbs up on this video. Consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. You can hit that subscribe button. And if you want alerts when I put out content, you can just hit the bell and get those alerts. Now, I've done all kinds of content on this KvK. Did a ton of live streaming. I did a 12-hour live stream on Kingsland on Saturday. And we ran it. We ran it down. We did so many different things. And this is the KvK that really pushed a lot of the content over the last month. So to kind of sum up, we started down here in Wessex. We're in 606, okay? And for people that don't understand how this KvK was played out, there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of opinions about how the matchmaking was. Not the most ideal matchmaking. We tried to make it about as even as we could. And there was just kind of no other option. You had 2377 up here in Northumbria. They were campmates with 2217. You had 2489 over here with 2654. Then you had the campmates that people dubbed, you know, the AC camp. But until last night, until the end of Kingsland, 3251 was a Silver Imperium. They were over here in Mercia. And they were with 1473 and 3535. And then, of course, we were down here in 606, 1719, and 2650. They gave us 2 campmates. We probably did not need 2 campmates. That would have probably made it a little bit more easy on this because we ended up being the camp that had the most firepower. I think it's safe to say we had the most accounts, we had the most activity, and we were able to punch in a very big way. But that's how it laid out. So we allied with 2489 and then 2377, one of the biggest kingdoms in the game and one of the highest performing kingdoms in the game. They allied with Mercia and 3251 and those boys. And so that's how it came out. Everybody knows this. And so we played. Now, Zone 5, we did not get a fight in 606. Okay, that was a zone that Mercia did not even go into. They were going to save everything for Pass 7 in Kingsland. Okay, well, you got a serious Zone 5 fight with 2377 and 2489. They went at it. They went at it for like 3 or 4 days. Like, it was crazy. And so we come down here into Pass 7 that opened last week. And when it opened, it was wild. It was a lot of fun. 2377, I think they still have their fort up here. They actually dropped from their campmates fort and they came up here. They would port in 40, 50 cities and they would come down here and fight. So we were fighting 2 camps at once at times. It was a lot of fun. They were the only ones to really switch sides until I think at the very end of Pass 7, the day before Kingsland opened, we dropped a fort over here to help 2489 take the pass back. 2489 had the pass almost exclusively the whole time. They never gave it up. We lost the pass at the very beginning, but then we took it after about an hour and a half, and then we never gave it up. And so from that standpoint, that's how Pass 7s went. Then we went into Kingsland. 2377 did not switch sides to come fight us. They stayed on their side with 2489, and we fought 3535 and 3251 and 1473. That's how that worked out. And we had all this stuff going. They built here and they actually had this area right here. So it looked like one diagonal line like this. And it was really a pretty fresh opening for everybody. 2489 did a phenomenal job laying down flags and getting a lot of territory. 2377 and their uptime really pushed 2049 very, very hard. And then we were just burning and doing what we do over here. Okay, I was on the left side. You can see that stream. I'll have a card at the end of the video to go back and watch that stream. And things got really, really crazy and a lot of fun. But overall, we were too much. We overwhelmed them. We overwhelmed them in the field over here by the Zig. We overwhelmed them over here by their pass, and we kept pushing and pushing. And after about 12 to 15 hours, once 2377 and once the Mercia camp started hitting downtime, they pretty much called it. I mean, it was just too overwhelming. And it really kind of sucks because without a Zone 5 fight, we literally got 4 days of fighting. That's it. And so we are loaded up, still Gold Imperium, and we've got to figure that out in 606. But that's how the KvK went. Credit to Mercia and those guys. They fought like crazy at this past 7. They didn't just cheeseburger. They balled up and they made us run around and fight and do all kinds of stuff. We burned out forts. They asked for 77's help to rebuild forts. We had to fight both camps at the same time. They did a really, really good job. Played it about as well as you could play it. And then at the same time, 2377, we know what they're going to do with their campmates in 17, and they fought like crazy at this pass over here. And then in Kingsland, everybody just went nuts for about 12 hours, and it was crazy. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast doing it. And so from that, I have plenty of reports and plenty of things to show you. But the marches that I like to run, I'm gonna show you this. Now, I tweaked around with some different things, but this in essence was what I ran. I ran 2 Archer marches for the first time in a long time. Now, the second Archer march is full crit stuff. I've really got to work on some of the tiered up options for it. But you can just kind of see when I come into this deal with Herman. I like to run Herman. Evergreen's a buddy of mine. He obviously runs a Discord with me. He loves Herman with Zuge behind, so I ran that out. I got to work on the tiers for these things. I'm going to do some things to switch up the gear and go more attack because I have more blueprints of that. Okay, and with that, that's how I ran 2 Archer marches. Ragnar CPO, BQ Luce, and then I love Huobelli. It just trades so well. I ran Attila with my arch stuff, and I put the artifact on CJ, and that did exceptionally well. Now, I also ran Attila with Luce, what I deem as the best march for me I've ever had. Could it outperform Chin? It's going to surprise you what happened with that. Then I ran Arthur with Philip, and we can talk about what's going to happen down in the future. We can talk about when Arthur gets another combo commander to put behind him. What do you do with Philip? CPO's done for me. I do not want to run CPO anymore. I know everybody likes him. I know everybody thinks that his health debuff is still great, but it just does not work for me. My Ragnar and Philip does better. And so if I can move Philip to behind Ragnar, great. If we get another Smite commander with the new KvK story coming out with the Song of Troy, if it's a skill damage commander, I'm benching CJ. And I think it's going to be Achilles as the infantry commander. If it's a Smite commander, I might just bench them all. Bench Ragnar and CPO, run 2 Smite for my infantry and go. Because Pincer is so powerful. The Pincer formation is so good. And Ragnar and CPO just aren't doing it for me. You'll see it in the reports. And so from there, there's a little thing, there's a few things to think about and how you might want to run that. But those are the marches I ran. And let me show you exactly how those things played out. These are my reports from Cuba's Mike Report Manager. Okay, I'll have the link down in the description. You can download that thing, and it is really, really cool. Here's all the information. And I know it's kind of hard to see with little bitty numbers here, but it will make sense, okay? At the very, very top, and this is what people have to understand. Actually, let me go ahead and increase the size of this so you can see, okay? So, I ran Attila Luce, and I ran it quite a bit, okay? But for the most part, I ran Attila CJ much, much more. And you can see that Attila Luce actually outperformed my Chin with YSG. It actually outperformed it. That's how good that march is. It's just out of control good. It's busted good. Addie ran it on their account, okay? And she saw the same type of thing. She's got great arch stuff. Peace ran it with a bunch of rare inscriptions on her account. Really, really did well. And more people are running Attila in the field in Artifact KvKs because you can put a Smite commander behind him. And if you have any kind of cavalry arch armaments, you can make it just go crazy. And so that was my best march, hands down, almost trading at a 2-to-1 clip, 197%. My Chin there at 169%, amazing march. Now you got to remember, you can watch my live streams. I hammered the random ports and I was just playing like a lunatic. Okay, there wasn't much stalemated fighting where you're just going back and forth. It was just smash and grab, just go from one place to another. I got caught out 100 times. Sometimes it was the only way I could get any fights was to just let the enemy team up on me. And for the most part, I did pretty well. Between Pass 7 and Kingsland, you can see the kill ratio up here at the top. That's 117%. I like to be at 125%. That's where I like to be. That's a good tank score. And if I run it at the volume I run it, 1.25 is where I want to be overall. I was at 1.17. And so with that, my third best March, when I put Luce behind BQ, that is what I've always said is the second best March in the game behind Chen with either OYSG or Zuge, okay, taking Attila out of it, but BQ and Luce did amazing. Then when I ran BQ and Luce, I put CJ behind my Attila, and it did really, really well. Traded at 127%, which is really good. And even a couple of times I put Philip behind my Attila, it would also do okay. 109%, not necessarily amazing, but compared to everything else. Then there's my Ragnar CPO. Okay, it sits down here at basically trading even. My BQ and CJ basically trading even. When I ran Attila with Luce, I ran BQ and CJ. So when I switched those up, I found that collectively between these two marches right here, I did better than this March and this March. Okay, so everybody understands. Then here come my Cavs. Huo and Belly, Cavs are getting focused. Cavs need help. They both traded about even. And then I even put at the very bottom, you can kind of see this. I even put Attila with Richard. And I did it a couple of times because we were actually running back and forth, trying to chase each other down. Richard is amazing with his slow. He has the best slow in the game. If they just did something with Richard, just something to make him better. He is so effective in the field sometimes when you're chasing down opponents. But that's how it played out. Those are all the marches. That's how we ran it. And we had an awesome time doing it. But I've also got to show you at the very bottom here. Okay, let me take Subutai out of this. All right, where is my boy Subutai? Take him out of this because this is for field. At the very bottom, that is where my Zuge and Herman sit. Okay, that's where they sit. And it traded at 75% during the whole time. That's why I don't like running two archer marches. My playstyle does not work. I don't like it. I got to work on the gear. I think the gear will help out that trade combination a little bit better. And I think the armaments will help out because I've only got one special inscription on that. I got to think about how I want to do more. And so from that standpoint, that's how all my marches worked out. And that's how it worked. So BQ and Wallace that I ran and Arthur and William that I ran, these were just, I ran it a few times just when I was trying out other things. They do fine, okay? But these were the best marches that I had, just to let everybody know exactly how that works. So that's what you've got for the marches. Now, let me show you, because part of playing in a KvK is that you're going to get to rally. You're going to get to rally structures and cities and all the things. Well, let me show you a bunch of the rallies that I ran. We come back here. Let's see, Zuge. Here's an Attila rally. We're starting to run on these passes. Attila Subutai was the MVP. It was the MVP. The other rallies are good. We have Murph, we have others running the SA rallies, but Attila Subutai, between me, between Peace, between Aloha, and between others, it's absolutely it's easiest to reinforce. It's the best rally you can run. It basically crushes everything. The only thing it has trouble with, obviously, is the Gorgo Tokugawa, but you can swarm that. So they ran the Gorgo Tokugawa on the pass, and I think I've got that pass rally. Is it back here somewhere? I think it might be here. We were running two DPS rallies on both sides. I ran the Attila Charles Martel. This was a massive rally that we did. It did 908, did almost 1 billion kill points. And if you can see, this Gorgo Tokugawa is going to wreck it. I was the tank rally. So this is what this rally was, what the garrison was hitting, and it's going to wreck the rally. However, we just needed it to tank, and that's what it did. Now look at the deads at 2.5 million. Then look at the deads total, 6.1 million. So 3.6 million deads is what people took when they tried to swarm it. They tried to get this thing down because they needed to put the Gorgo Tokugawa on one of the DPS rallies. Otherwise, they couldn't get those rallies down. Okay, you have to have the garrison hammering the rally and focusing on that for the swarms to get that rally down, to kill that rally. And if you can't, it's really, really hard. It's hard to kill a Shapur rally or a Scipio Emilianus rally if the garrison is not focusing all its damage on that at the same time as you're swarming it. And that's how that works. So now we're going to look at some other rallies that we had here. Oh, here's one against Baba TC Atakan. This is the alt account of Baba, right? This is his son's account, and it's about 230 million power. But you can see at a high power, even at 230 million power, geared up to the hilt, you can see what Attila Subutai does with that. You know it's geared up because when you actually come in here and look at the infantry attack, you can see 6+16, which basically means that is all iconic and it's all critted across the board. And then of course it's going to have all the different things except some of the tech it did not have. And so from there, the rally just wrecks it even over 200 million power. You look at this overall, let me see here. I've got some more rallies. This is another one against the pass that we had talked about, or against the fort that we had talked about. Here's one against Sun Wizard, okay? 7 million troops. I think they were about 140 million power. This rally is going to trade 2-1. Hands down, even against a Gorgo Toku, and that's okay with mixed troops in a city, but this rally is just going to crush it, okay? And so gave them some deads. Here's another rally against Big Popa, the same type of deal. Overall, let me see here. Where's the big report here? Here's where the most of it was, and I think Big Popa was about 180 million power, 9.9 million troops, so that's like 160, maybe 170 million power. And if you keep this rally going, you're gonna just crush it, giving him 871,000 deaths. Just crazy what this city rally can do. You come over here and look at Mr. Tab. We ran this. He took some deads. Now this actually traded much, much more even because he was he was like 250 million power with a really good garrison. And we were able to do really, really well. And from there, it trades about even. Look how many deads he takes. Now our deads is completely spread among all these different players. And we got to lose a lot of power in 606. So we were all good with that. Had some T4s in there and everything. The deads he took were almost exclusively tier 5. And then he had a few tier 4 and tier 5 reinforcements. So that was really cool to run against Mr. Tab. We ran against Baba TC Atakan again, and we've shown that how that works out. Here's a rally on a flag. Now we're getting into Kingsland, just crushing a Hera YSS. The Attila Subutai, like people were saying, like, hey, Shapur's come out, it does shield mitigation, it's the counter to Hera. No, Attila Subutai is the counter to Hera. It's been countering Hera for 6 months. It's been crushing Heras. Gorgo Hera crushes it. CY Hera crushes it. Hera YSS crushes it. It crushes Hera. Attila Subutai will hammer it. And so here's some more here. This was one on another flag, and you can just see the kill points because as they try to swarm this stuff, they took 100,000 deads from swarms, and then it's just going to wreck the rally. They were running CY Attila. Don't ever run this, even in a artifact KvK. Don't ever put Attila behind CY. Okay, it does not. There's not good synergies. You can run Attila with CY behind it, but you don't want to put Attila behind CY and run it with archers. The Cavs are going to eat it up. They're going to chew it up. Okay, they ran it, I think, a couple of different times. We just wrecked it every time. Every time they put it in. Now, here's a CY Gorgo. This is actually really, really good. This is a decent counter for Attila Subutai. Did not get the reinforcements, so the rally cooked. Here's another one. John Wicked. What are you doing here, John? Did I rally something else here? Oh, yeah, here's another flag as John Wicked was trying to swarm me down, and this is how this worked on this flag against a CY Richard. Huh? That was a mistake. So you're getting all kinds of stuff there. Then we're starting to rally some cities. Ripped about 10 million power off of Keep Calm from 1473. Then you come down here. I rallied Penny. Penny was a lot of fun to rally. He used the stratagem to up his hospital capacity to 1 million. He hardly took any deads. And then I think he bubbled or switched tags. So Penny did not take that rally. You can see the rally just crushed it. Okay. The same thing with Muha. He switched tags, and you can see what the rally does to a Hera. You don't ever want to have Hera on the wall when that happens. Okay, here's one more. Law, who we messed with 77. he took some considerable deads before he switched tags as well. In fact, I think this one, yeah, he switched tags on this one as well. You come down here, Gecko or Keko, I should say, use the same type of system. I mean, he's winning this because we're taking deads. We need deads anyways, but he's got that large hospital cap to where you don't get many deads from. And then here it is. This is the rally I want to show everybody. This is the rally that's really, really interesting, okay? I showed it to you a little bit in the video prior to this. We rallied Wild Lion. It was a unique situation. It's the end of KvK. I reach out to Wild Lion and say, hey, we want to try to rally you. We want to see how long we can keep the rally going. And that's what we did. So he had to teleport on our territory. He randomed on our territory. He said, no problem. Here's a stipulation. I don't want any warren troops and you can't buff the rally. I said, okay, we'll run it, just raw dog, and we'll get after it. And we had so many rains, and we ran this thing for about 3 or 4 minutes before finally Eleanor with YSG on the wall. You could see it right there. Eleanor with YSG on the wall does so much skill damage, and she does her instant proc to where when that fires off a couple times in a skill cycle, you just can't keep the rally full, and it kills the rally. Like we're stuffing it like crazy. And so I'll have a card at the top if you want to see the video to that and go through the reports and everything. I'm going to show you to you briefly here. Here's the report on that. Awful for us, 21 million deads, tons of kill points for our boy Wild Lion, but we ripped 33 million power off of him. And so if we could have kept it full and we could have gotten it running for another 2 or 3 minutes, this deads would have been about 8, 9, 10 million deads, which is 80, 90, 100 million power. And for Wild Lion, not a lot. He doesn't care about that. But we just wanted to see if we could do it. You can see how when all these skill cycles go off, it's just up and down constantly, just crazy. And so from there, here's the last rally we ran just today. Our boy Tyrannus from 3417 or 17 is basically, I guess, trying to drop some power, fill the hospital because we ran the rally on him. So that was the rally side of things. I ran Attila Subotai. If you watch my stream, I ran it over here on the left side against flags all day, 6 hours in Kingsland, just running it all day. I don't think it lost one time. And so from that standpoint, still a massively effective rally. We'll see what happens with the next combos. Now, overall with the KvK, what happened? Who had the most kill points? Who had the most everything? Well, I'm going to bring up Pro Kingdom here. My boy George and Horse from 2377 really helps run the Pro Kingdoms and does all that stuff. And he is really, really good to talk to you about this. But these are the live updates. Goldfish Ken went bananas. 18.9 billion kill points, like 19 billion kill points. They'll probably get to 20 before the end of KvK. And so you see here a lot of 2377 players, a lot of 489 players, and then there's a couple 606. You got to remember, we didn't have a pass or a zone 5 fight for 3 and 4 days like these other guys did. And look what Fluffy and Miku did. So we just performed like crazy. You see more 2489. There's Mistake. There's Piggy. Mistake's obviously a big supporter of the channel and the streams. There's my boy Itachi and 606. 606 showing up big time. And so you see all this stuff. Here's a bunch of 489 players, really good players. There's Rayo, my guy at 2377. You've got Addy here, Dark Lady, PTI running it up now from 2489, one of the R5s there. You've got all these different players. Amfern did a really good job at 2489. You've got Baka and Gorilla just hammering in 606. There's Jovi, my guy Jovi, in 2489. Just a lot of really, really good players. There's Jake, there's Killed. There I am in 65th. Now, this is a bad showing for me. I don't like it. 4 billion kill points is low for me, and not having a zone 5 hurt me a lot. And also being on the left side in Kingsland, where I was the one that was doing the objective rallies, and I couldn't field where a lot of the field fighting was more towards the Zig. But hey, you're a rally player. You got to do what your kingdom asks you to do, and I'm all in on it, and we had a good time doing it. Just wish I would have had more opportunity to get kill points. Okay, and so that's kind of how that worked out. You can see down here, you got Quacks, and there's Misfer, my buddy, and Mayhem. You've got all these different Pistol Pete. There he is. He's one of our 300 members, and you can see how that worked out. Now, when you come down here to the overall kingdom stats, this is what we're looking at. East Anglia with 2489, massive KP game, okay, with 410 billion. They hammered the KvK. They had the most deads out of anybody. Then you had 2377 in Northumbria with 416 billion kill points. Then here we are down here in Wessex, we're at 314 billion. There's Mercia. Okay, we tried to run as many deads as we could. We didn't get that many, which is kind of a problem. But overall, here's what the kingdoms did. Of course, only being able to fight and pass 7 in Kingsland for 4 days, we literally missed the 3 and 4 days of fighting in zone 5 that these kingdoms got to do. With that being said, we did a hell of a lot of fighting, a ton of fighting. And so taking 289 million deads, and that is how we played out for all these kingdoms who really did a good job. Here's our campmates down here. They were the smaller of the kingdoms. That's why they put them in the camp with us, and they did good. Everybody did really, really well. Everybody had a good time with it and did really well. Obviously, 3251, 3535, and 1473 are going to do less than some of these other kingdoms because they didn't fight zone 5. They were like we were. They didn't fight in a zone 5. And so that's how this whole thing broke down in this KvK. It was fun. We had a ton of content for it. A ton of creators were in here doing it. We were sharing reports. We were going through it all. This is King of All Britain. It has been a blast playing with the artifact and having fun with that. And we will eventually probably get first cap on this. I'm going to assume that 2049 is going to take the star. They'll have the autarchs. They really did well. They deserve it. They fought more just because of the map placement and because of how this thing worked out. So if you enjoyed this video, throw a thumbs up on it. If you got any comments about it, I understand the matchmaking. I want your opinions on it. I get it. And we did the best we could on how to lay out this KvK, but it ended up being a ton of fun being able to fight pretty much for 4 days straight, almost 5 days straight, at least getting that. Okay, we're at least grateful of that. Maybe not a zone 5 fight, but we're at least grateful to get those fights, and it worked out well. So if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything. And with all that being said, we hope you guys have a great day.